Welcome once again. Now, over the weekend, a story broke, a very sad story, I must say, about a man who suffered a pretty serious health crisis while on the Illorin-Ogbomosho expressway. We, of course, have cut out his image from this tweet, but of course, this is out of respect for his privacy and also that of his family. But that was the very first message that was put out seeking help. The ex-user who shared the video did so in order to seek help for this stranger who was at a very critical time and needed immediate medical attention. She continued, of course, to share updates on X, formerly called Twitter, while, of course, still waiting for someone to either show up or for some miracle. She continued seeking help, even going as far as taking an Okada, as she said there, to get an ambulance anywhere close to where this was happening. And then maybe after 1 or 2 hours, she announced that the Federal Road Safety Commission officials had arrived. The story continued the next day, which of course was Sunday, which was where she sadly stated that unfortunately the man had passed. Also stating that failure to get immediate or at least quick enough medical attention definitely contributed to his death. So I'll first of all say my condolences to his family, and I pray that they find comfort from God. Now, some of them or some people would argue that this is just another example of a person that Nigeria happened to. And if you wonder, what does Osarogie mean by Nigeria happened to a person? It's simply any situation where the realities of Nigeria as a country come into play in a person's life, sometimes negatively. For example, having a medical emergency and having zero healthcare infrastructure that will provide quick care to the affected person. Or another very common one is driving yourself and your family on your way back from church on Sunday and losing your wife to the bullet of a trigger-happy policeman. Or even driving home after a long day of work and getting unexpectedly crushed by a container that fell off the truck right next to you in traffic. These are examples of what it means when people say, oh, Nigeria happened to you. And it's a great time to ask you this morning, what would you do? Or what do you think would happen if you, as we would always say, God forbid, have some health emergency along the expressway somewhere across the country? What do you think your chances are of survival? Will you be able to call the police on Nigeria's police hotlines and expect a team to be with you in 30 minutes or 1 hour? Will you be able to call for an ambulance and it will be there in an hour? Will you be airlifted to the nearest hospital by our fantastic air ambulances? Can you even bet that before the ambulance arrives, the FRSC official or policemen who are first on the scene will be able to administer CPR or any other life-saving procedure? I'm raising these questions as a very serious reminder to everyone watching us this morning that the demands that we should have of our government, whoever is in power, should never be belittled or trivialized. It's a reminder that Nigerian politicians continue to give citizens the barest minimum levels of development. In fact, they give nothing at all if they could, and it should be unacceptable. We should always and always demand better from these people who lead us in every level of governance, from the federal to the state to the local government level. And also to remind you that while you battle each other along tribal, religious, and political lines, while you choose to support a candidate because, they are simply from your tribe, when you become a tribal bigot in your 30s, simply because of elections, at any time that, we say again, God forbid, you find yourself in need of health care, infrastructure, security, that governance, and these simple things that governance should provide, your tribal political leanings wouldn't save you. The man whose story I started with, nobody knows what political party he supports, because in that moment it didn't matter. What mattered in that moment was the glaring lack of a system that should have saved his life and the type of governance that should have provided such a system. And that should always and always be the core of our interest when we discuss politics and governance, not tribe, not religion, nothing else, but the improvement of our societies by those who run for office. So every single day, when we have these battles amongst ourselves, and run across tribal or religious lines or whatever it is, let us be reminded that if once again, God forbid, you have a health emergency on traffic anywhere in Nigeria, in Kano, in Lagos, in Benin, in Bayelsa, if you have a health emergency, what your reality is that nobody is coming to save you. If we are being honest, Nobody is coming to save you. And so when you have these discussions, your voting discussions or political discussions, ignore tribe, ignore religion, and let us continue to focus on what is important, the demand for a better country. Good morning, Nigerians.